If you have multiple cameras or want to make even more visually engaging content with Riverside, you can actually use a video switcher like this one and connect it to your Riverside studio. This is a Blackmagic ATEM Mini Pro. They have several models with multiple camera inputs. This one actually can take 4 cameras via HDMI. Using this, you can switch between multiple camera feeds at once, even do picture-in-picture and overlays all built into this switcher. It also comes with software that we'll go over in a moment. Looking at the back of the device, you'll see that there's multiple ports. These are the 4 HDMI ins where you can input a camera into each one. There's an HDMI out, which you'll use for an external monitor like a multi-view. I'll show you that in a moment. A USB out, which you'll use to connect to your computer, and this allows Riverside to see this video switcher as a webcam. You can also connect it to Ethernet to control it over the network. And there's even an option to plug in microphone inputs, so this can be an audio source. I'm going to plug in multiple cameras, both my A-roll and B-roll, and have a computer plugged into an input as well, and I'll show you what that looks like. So as you can see, I've pretty much used every port on this video switcher. I have 4 HDMI sources, including 2 cameras. I plugged in Ethernet and even an audio feed from my Rodecaster Pro 2. This way the switcher also has an audio source. Just to give you an idea, this is what the multi-view looks like when you plug it into the switcher. You actually get a preview of every input, which you'll see I have 2 cameras, an Apple TV, and a secondary display connected to my Mac. Then you have a larger preview where I have my camera 2 or top-down shot here, and I have a preview of my A-roll or my main camera right up here. Once you have all those sources plugged into the video switcher, whichever you want to make one live, you can just click that button on the switcher. So now I've switched to camera 2, you can go to video source 3 or video source 4. You see, you just switch it using the large buttons there on the controller. There's also free software available from Blackmagic. This is the ATEM software control, and I can do the same thing here, switching between the different video sources in the program line, and even control things like picture-in-picture, change what's in the preview screen, and even go into settings like adjusting what appears in the multi-view. You will need to download software support for the ATEM switcher and also download the desktop video utility from Blackmagic. We'll put links to those down in the video description, and they're free to download. Now I've also connected the switcher to my computer using a USB-C cable. So let's jump into a Riverside studio and select it as our source. I'll go to record. Then here in Riverside, you'll actually see the Blackmagic design as an option for your video input. That's the ATEM Mini Pro switcher. Now that I've selected my switcher as my camera input here in Riverside, I can choose whatever audio source. And while you can choose the Blackmagic design switcher as an audio source, I'm going to choose my Rodecaster Pro 2 as both my speaker and microphone. The ATEM Mini Pro switcher specifically requires an 1/8" headphone jack style cable to input audio, and I have found that audio will either lose quality or can be unreliable, so I would recommend just using a separate audio interface or even a USB microphone rather than the switcher itself for audio. So I have my switcher for video here, my Rodecaster Pro 2 is my microphone and speaker. I am using headphones, which I'll connect to the Rodecaster, and let's join the studio. Now here in the studio, you'll be able to see what it looks like to switch between different camera angles. I'll go to my camera 2 shot on the switcher, and you'll see here in Riverside, it's switched automatically. And now I have a top-down camera shot, I can show objects on screen, and then when I'm ready, I can use the ATEM software control or the switcher itself, switch back to camera 1, and now we're live video switching in Riverside. One important consideration when using a video switcher with Riverside: whatever camera you're switching to live during the recording is all that Riverside will be able to record. So as you switch between camera 1 and camera 2, you won't be able to change that in your Riverside editor after the fact. Now there are ATEM Mini Pro video switchers that can actually record every input simultaneously directly to an SSD. So you can record cameras 1, 2, 3, and 4 all into individual video files and then edit those later in an external editor. But using it with Riverside specifically, whatever you see here in the studio, and as you switch between camera inputs, is what's recorded in Riverside. But that also means I can go to my top-down shot and then also do a picture-in-picture view, and now I can have multiple camera shots here in Riverside being recorded, and this is really powerful if you plan to live stream using Riverside. If you haven't seen it yet, Riverside has incredible live streaming tools now where you can not only live stream to Riverside Audience Mode, but you can connect multiple social destinations, stream to all of them simultaneously, and you'll even see all of the chat messages from Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook in the Riverside chat window. And when you send a message in Riverside, it will be broadcast to all those social destinations. Let's do a short recording going between video feeds so you can see what it looks like in the Riverside editor. I'll start my recording down here. We'll get the countdown, and now we're recording in high quality here in Riverside through our ATEM Mini Pro switcher. Also keep in mind, any ATEM Mini model right now maxes out at 1080p high definition. There are no 4K versions of the ATEM Mini Pro right now. There are some more professional video switchers you could use with Riverside, and if you're interested in those more pro setups, let us know down in the comments and we can cover that on the channel too. Let's switch to camera 2, and now you'll see Riverside is recording our second camera input, and we can even turn on picture-in-picture, and this is being recorded right now to Riverside and being broadcast if we were live streaming as well. We'll go back to our main camera, and let's stop this recording. This is going to be uploaded to Riverside, and let's see what this looks like in the Riverside editor. Now that the edit has processed, let's go into the editor. As you can see, we have our camera 1 shot here through the video switcher, and if I skip forward, you'll see the B-roll camera shot or top down, and even being able to add that picture-in-picture, and that was all recorded in Riverside through my ATEM Mini Pro. And don't forget, when you're editing in Riverside, you have many AI tools available to you, like the set pace feature, which will remove the perfect amount of silence. I can apply that, and you'll see all the silences in the track were immediately cut out. I can hide those deleted sections, and also choose smooth speech to remove filler words and unwanted sounds. And just like that, I now have a multi-camera shoot edited for me in Riverside. When I'm ready to export, I can do that up here, export that video file, then upload it to YouTube, Spotify for podcasters, or wherever you'd like. And that's how to use video switchers with Riverside to get multiple camera angles and make even more visually engaging content. If you have any questions, leave comments below this video. I'll answer you personally. And we have lots of other resources, like camera settings if you're using a mirrorless camera. You can check out that video right up here. And don't forget to subscribe to the Riverside channel, hit that like button, and if you're looking to upgrade your setup, maybe with cameras but also audio interfaces and microphones, I have an entire video talking about setups for multiple budget levels. You can check that out right up here. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.